Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster, and today we are going to discuss the 1996 movie, The Frighteners. Now, I will warn you that there is at least one spoiler ahead, so, and I'll try to warn you before I actually say it. Also, I recently made a video for an old TV couple, for a 2000s TV couple that I enjoyed, and feel free to check it out. Also, it put it up yesterday. It's called Jolie, Jolie. I Need a Lover. Uses John Mellencamp's version of I Need a Lover. Now on to this movie. The Frighteners is a horror slash comedy that came out in 1996, the same year Scream did. And with this one, The Frighteners features the cast of Michael J. Fox as Frank Bannister, who many will remember from Back to the Future, and some parents, maybe grandparents, would remember from the TV show Spin City. It also features Jake Busey as the character of Johnny Charles Bartlett. Um, Jake Busey, people today would probably remember more for Stranger Things as the character Bruce. I haven't seen Stranger Things. Didn't really find the advertisements for it interesting enough to get me to watch. And Tomcat, and also he was in the movie Tomcats as the character Kyle Brenner, big horn dog, uh, male slut, however you want to look at it. But that's how he was in that movie. And also, it's got Trini Alvarado as Dr. Lucy Linsky. Now, when I looked up her um, credits, Alvarado had a number of other things, but they were minor. And so I went with the one I could find, which is Polly, movie with a parrot in it, and which took place near the same time that this film came out. And in it, she plays the adult version of a character known as Marie Allweather. Now, the plot to this movie. Give me a second. The plot to this movie, to The Frighteners, is that a former architect loses his wife and has become this con man who exorcises ghosts for money. But what happens when he has to deal with the real ghosts instead of just the one? What happens when the ghosts he has to exorcise are real instead of just the con he's pulling? Now, on to my interesting notes about this film. Michael J. Fox reportedly kept calling John Astin's character, who's known as the judge in this movie. John Astin, by the way, the Gomez Addams from the Addams Family TV show, which tells you this one was doing real well at trying to keep with the dark people and characters that they played. And anyways, he kept calling him Doc, which is what Christopher Lloyd's nickname was in Back to the Future. So they had to keep reshooting scenes because of it. Also, this would be Michael J. Fox's last leading role in a film, as he started after this doing the TV show Spin City I mentioned earlier, in order to be able to be closer to his family because he'd gotten tired of being away from them for long movie shoots. Okay, now for one of the spoilers now for the at least one spoiler I mentioned earlier. In the film, it mentions the characters of Charles Starkweather and Kirill Fugate. as a serial killer murdering couple. Well, turns out these weren't just roles for the film. These weren't just characters mentioned in a film as a passing thing. They were actually real pair of serial killers. Charles, at the time he started the killing, was 17 to 18. And he ended up killing 11 people and 2 dogs, really sick man, during a 2-month period. Kirill, at the time of her, I'm sorry, I might have that wrong. He might have been 19, actually, given the time span of the catching and all that, but I'll get back to that in a second. Kirill, at the time, however, was actually only 14 years old and was his girlfriend. And she even accompanied and helped him in the murders that he committed. Well, the thing is that when they caught him, in the time it took him to catch, convict, and execute Charles Starkweather, was a span of only a little over a year. It was about a year and a half at most. So he might have done his killing at 18 to 19 instead, considering he was given the chair and he was electrocuted. He was 20 years old. While Kirill, I guess they decided to be lenient to her, was given life in prison, but was paroled after 17 years. Means that she was out when she's 31, which to me would be a scary thing to know at the time. And another note, actor in the movie, Jeffrey Combs, for his character, he has this weird hairstyle that they refer to as the Hitler haircut. Turns out it was actually his idea because he wanted to have it as a way to show the character's extreme sense of nationalism for serving his country for so long. Not only that, he also had like 2 ear appendages added on where it made his ears look funny, and several of the tattoos that he possesses were Combs' choice, which gets me a little more worried about Combs' state of mind in this and how into character he got. Um, it's rumored that this was planned to be a Tales from the Crypt episode at one point, but Robert Zemeckis liked it so much and called dibs instead and decided to make it into a movie. Personally, I think this would have made a good Tales from the Crypt style episode if done right. But the either that or they could have turned it like they did with Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood and Ritual and actually turned it into a full blown Tales from the Crypt movie. Now, the Robert Zim now, because it is a bit short, it is a bit long to be, it is a bit much to be putting into a 30-minute episode. But at the same time, 30-minute episode. But at the same time, this comes up in my final review about the length of the film itself. I did think it was a bit long for its length. And also, at the time that it aired in theaters, Tasmania did not release it because of a incident known as the Port Arthur Massacre. The content in the movie mirrored what happened a little too much, so they didn't release it, but later on it would be released on video and broadcast, TV broadcasting. Something I didn't remember, but I remember for this movie, but not for the other one, is that in 1996, 2 movies featured a cover of Don't Fear the Reaper. One, the Frighteners. The second, Scream. I don't know why I don't remember this song being in Scream, because I love it, because I actually like this song. It's a beautiful song. And now, on to my final notes. One, it's a good movie overall, especially for Halloween or just a regular summer movie flick. I highly recommend it for that and for those. I also recommend it for those who are just getting into the horror, scary movie genre. Like if you got kids, say around the age of 9, 10 years old. This way it doesn't scare them too much, but at the same time, it's enough to get them into it and maybe scare them a little bit. Despite the fact that the movie does have if I remember correctly, it has a PG-13. It might have an R rating. I'm fairly certain it's a PG-13 though. But anyways, it's a good movie to get the introduction to horror films. Not one really seasoned with. It's not one you like. Oh, hey, you're a seasoned person in horror films. Let's play this movie. And because they would look. Because with me, I love horror films. This one, I like it, but it's not something that if I was looking for a good scare or something would do it. But this one does do well with the mixing of the comedy and horror, where it's not too scary, but it's not too far the other way, and being too funny. It finds common ground for it. The one complaint I would really have for it, though, is that the film was a little longer than it needed to be, as it felt like some of the details and scenes in it were unimportant or not necessary at all and could have been cut and shortened the overall time of the movie, and it still would have been a good one. My final grade for this movie, for the Frighteners, a B plus, and I recommend you go see. And I recommend you find it and watch it. And like I said, I made another video. If you're on my channel, feel free to subscribe and feel free to watch all my videos and share and like and comment. I look forward to all. And don't forget to leave me what you think I should do for an upcoming video. Because I actually do read these comments and I even reply to them. So, till next time.